We are Muskegon County at Work, spotlighting workers of local governments throughout our county, revealing what it takes to make our communities comfortable and safe.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Muskegon County Municipalities at Work. Your host here, DJ Hilson, for yet another fun-filled and intriguing episode. Pretty excited about today's episode. I get to have a good conversation with a good friend for many years. It's my pleasure to welcome the City of Roosevelt Park's Police Chief, Shawn Bryan. Hello, Shawn.
Hi, DJ. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for saying yes. Hopefully you won't regret it after we're done today.
Of course not.
But as always, I love to have my guests start out by talking about themselves. You know, where you come from, how you got to where you are.
Sure. I'm a Michigan boy. I grew up in Northwest Michigan, Traverse City, Petoskey area. Went away to college, met my wife at college, had an amazing opportunity, criminal justice major, played some college football, met the love of my life, and we were very fortunate in the mid-'90s to get hired by the City of Muskegon Police Department, where I spent 27 absolutely fantastic years working for the City of Muskegon. Worked myself up through the ranks from road patrol, community policing. Loved community policing. It became the backbone and philosophy of how I look at things, law enforcement-wise. Got promoted to sergeant in the early 2000s. Worked my way up through as a command officer on the road, field lieutenant, and spent the last 13 years of my career as the detective captain with the City of Muskegon. Saw lots of things, did a lot of things, made some incredible friendships, put a lot of really serious bad guys away with your help. And then I was fortunate enough to, in March of 2022, I retired from the City of Muskegon and came over to the City of Roosevelt Park, where I became police chief in the fall of 2022, and I've served in that capacity ever since.
So, I mean, that's quite a career in law enforcement, which gives me a lot of different avenues to go in this conversation today. Let's talk a little. You mentioned the importance of the Community Policing Bureau, and we've had other guests, talk about, that's. I wouldn't say it's unique to policing, but it's certainly unique in Muskegon County. I think the City of Muskegon probably has one of the more active community policing bureaus. Why is that sort of, I'll say division, but the philosophy behind community policing so important, especially in today's day and age?
Well, and again, you're right. City of Muskegon is a very robust community policing division. And I think it's important because it's the core of what we do as law enforcement is contact with, our friends, our citizens, our victims in their times of need before they need us. Getting into the schools and visiting with kids, working with churches and philanthropic groups, and just providing a conduit to our citizens, to law enforcement at the grassroots level, on the daily level, to where it's not a shock and trauma to our citizens in their time of need when law enforcement arrives, because they already know us. And we are part of the community, and the community then knows that we're real people who really care about their needs. And it's I think it's a beautiful way for police departments to integrate themselves into community activities without having that omnipresence of enforcement needing to happen. And I think it's a vital piece, and we've tried to work that into what we do at Roosevelt Park on an everyday basis.
Well, that kind of leads me to, certainly for those folks that understand the difference between the City of Muskegon and the City of Roosevelt Park, from a population standpoint, there's a pretty drastic chasm there as it relates to citizen population.
Yeah. I went from the City of Muskegon, 20 plus square miles and, tens of thousands of people, to absolutely wonderful situation in Roosevelt Park. We're 1 square mile, surrounded on three sides by Norton Shores, one side by City of Muskegon to the north. We have roughly 4,000 residents. we somewhat double during the day. Close to 200 businesses, a vibrant retail corridor along Sherman, Henry, and Norton. But yeah, very, very different. I went from, more of an urban, very diverse socioeconomic city in the city of Muskegon to a very almost Rockwellian, small town America. Folks know their neighbors, very walkable, excellent schools, and just a wonderful place for people to live, work, and play.
Now, when you took over as chief, I'm sticking with this whole community policing philosophy. Is that something that you brought with you? Was it already sort of in existence and you just enhanced it? I mean, what difference, again, going into a smaller community where everybody knows your name, including, who the law enforcement folks are. What changes of philosophy did you bring with you?
Yeah, it's a great question. It was already the footsteps and then the building blocks were already there. Schools and residents knew the officers. A very established department, long time. I think the average tenure of the officers when I came in was 27 years. A lot of gray-haired cops. But the enhancement right away was there was a distinct separation between the relationships between the department and our businesses. And being 1 square mile, I thought, hey, let's get around, let's walk. I spent my first, 3+ months walking from business to business, making contact with our business managers and business owners and, the clerks working the third shift and just getting a face out there. And, I think I went through probably 800 business cards, just making contact, letting folks know, hey, if you have a need, if you have an issue, reach out to me directly. And I think that was probably the biggest thing. But it's my predecessors at Roosevelt Park and my staff, they had already traveled well down the community policing road with our citizens.
So, from what I know, you are sort of an active police chief, and by active I mean you actually get in a patrol car and you drive around and you take calls. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, it's the technical piece. What we call it is a working chief.
Working chief. Sorry,
all chiefs are working.
Yeah.
No disrespect to the chiefs in the bigger departments, but they tend to have larger admin demands. I am a bit of a jack of all trades, as we all are in small departments and small geopolitical organizations. We have to wear many hats. But yeah, I got to get back to my roots and get in a car and go to the school and read to the kids on Fridays in kindergarten and first grade. And I got to go and take calls again and get back to the fundamentals of law enforcement. And it's been great. It's 27 years with the city. I'm getting ready to start my 4th year now with the park. I get up and I'm excited every day. It's not a grind. It's fun. We have a great staff. We have great citizens. Our businesses are open and welcoming to law enforcement, working with us. I didn't always see that in what I've seen before in other agencies. So for me, every day it's a fresh look, and it's fun to be a police officer and help people and make not just safe, but the perception that life is safe and people are secure, and it's a great place to be.
Going back to your third shift roots, or are you leaving that to the younger guys?
Yeah, no, that's we were somewhat short staffed when I came over, and the first summer I was with the park, I worked 155 straight days on the night shift. I wanted my guys to know that I was there for them. I wanted the citizens to know, hey, as a chief, I can talk a lot, but it's my actions that are going to prove, how we really are going to be as an agency. And so no better way to do it than get out when you're most needed.
Well, certainly in your long career in the city in a bigger department, I know that you saw the challenges from a lot of different angles. What are the challenges the same in a smaller department, or are you facing sort of different challenges than what you experienced in the larger department?
Yeah, again, great observation. It is a lot of the same, smaller scale, obviously. The nature of what we deal with, because we are surrounded by bigger cities and townships, we get some bleed over. We get some of the problems that our bigger sister cities see, we get, thankfully, on a much smaller scale. So on that aspect, yeah, it's somewhat the same. But, the difference is it's rare. And thankfully, again, with what we do, with what Norton Shores and the city and Muskegon Heights and the county and all the other agencies that surround us that are doing law enforcement wise, we're pretty safe. And so I spend a lot more time looking at some of the other aspects of what can we do as a public safety division to help our citizens. I'll order uniforms on one day and work on, staffing plans the next, and write policy and procedure in the middle of taking a retail fraud. It's fun. It keeps me energetic. It's allowed me to really develop my staff, and I think that's been the biggest thing that I've seen is we were very disciplined in our setup at Muskegon. A dedicated road patrol bureau and detective bureau and community services unit. My staff at Roosevelt Park, they are all those pieces. They are truly Swiss Army knives, and it's been fun to see the development in my staff and them get better every day.
Along those same lines, I mean, obviously, sort of I'll say frontline, even at the command level, you didn't necessarily at least directly have to deal with city government. Now, as the chief, I mean, you're hired by city government.
Yeah.
You I assume, report to city government. What's that transition for you been like to sort of dance on the political stage, if you will?
Yeah, it was fortunate. I had a great mentor in my last chief at the city who allowed me to start to get my toes into that water a little bit when I was with the City of Muskegon at the end. And it's been eye-opening, a different change, but we're very lucky in the park. We have a phenomenal city hall staff, clerk, HR director, treasurer, city manager. Our public works director is phenomenal, and it all leads into a city council that is. I tell the city manager. I come out of our city council meetings and I'm amazed. It's like going into your favorite uncle's backyard for a picnic, and there's some serious things discussed and some family stuff, but it's a lot of fun. It's very different. The needs in the park obviously are different than the needs were in City of Muskegon and wants, and we've had by and large a geopolitical organization that is very focused on the well-being of the citizens and, the people who come and work and play in the park. So no real hidden agendas, a lot of let's work together across the aisle. And it wasn't what I expected, but I have come to really appreciate. We've got a good thing in the park, and I really enjoy it.
So, speaking of staff levels, what's your staff level, man? What's Roosevelt Park rolling with these days?
Yeah, we're rolling with 7 sworn officers. I think we have no part-timers. We are the smallest agency in the county, numbers wise. I have one full-time records manager who's my absolute crutch. She keeps us up and afloat and keeps the lights on. It's been wonderful for us as I watch our friends and neighbors in different agencies fight off the Kent counties and the Grand Rapids and the bigger agencies where the grass seems to be a little bit greener, and officers are lost to bigger agencies, better pay, better benefits, better opportunities. I think we have great opportunities here in West Michigan. I think Muskegon County is unique because the collaborative efforts are so intertwined to from the top to the very grassroots primary officer level on the street. So, our 7, myself included, friends in a lot of other agencies, a lot of collaborative efforts, a lot of information is shared on a daily basis. We rock and roll 24/7.
Excellent. Well, you sort of you're hitting the magic words for me. So, obviously with a small department, like you said, limited resources, but yet still expected to provide the public safety expectations of the community. When and if it would ever sort of, I'll say, hit the fan, what has been your experience with that collaborative spirit? The mutual aid stuff. What have you grown accustomed to? Maybe being the provider, and now you are really going to be the providee.
Yeah, and I've experienced that already, and it's a very humbling experience. And you realize that when you were part of something bigger, when I was with the city, you would take it for granted that you had fully staffed shifts and detectives on your beck and call and speed dial and commanders at multiple levels. I really appreciate now the Director Kozels and the Chief Vanderstelts and the Sheriff Poulins of the world, who are so magnanimous and so easy to work with and so willing to give. And it really makes a difference for us to be able to provide a full service policing and rely on our brothers and sisters in our surrounding agencies to help us out. And it's nothing more than a click on the mic and can I get some help? And it's there, no questions asked. And so we try to, return the favor at every opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, certainly, from where I've been in my career, one of the things that I always brag about when I'm talking with my colleagues or I'm in a different part of the state is this idea that Muskegon County as a whole has this sort of collaborative, cooperative spirit.
Very much so.
That I see at every level, as you've described. And I just assume that happens, everywhere, only to come to find out that actually it doesn't. And so, I guess explain to the viewers, if you will, sort of the idea of what the chiefs mean in how they work with each other, including when there's turnover, because we've had some turnover,
significant turnover
over the last months, really. Yet that spirit remains.
So I think probably the best way to put it is we're in a fishbowl, and within the fishbowl, we're in a smaller fishbowl in law enforcement, and the chiefs in Muskegon are no different, and see no different problems than what they see on the east side and the southeast side. But I think what makes us special is while there's and many of us are members of the Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police or the International Association of Chiefs of Police. In West Michigan, we've dialed it down a little bit more. We have the Western Michigan Chiefs Association. I believe we're up to 13 counties are involved in sharing information. But we've dialed it in even finer here in Muskegon County with our COPS board. And we brought in, as you're aware, not only police chiefs, but the prosecutor's office and public services, such as Jason Wolford, our director of our 911 dispatch, and community corrections. And I think it's that piece where we all live and work in the same, small area, Muskegon County. We see the same problems. Problems don't know geopolitical lines. They cross over freely. So we're all fighting the same battles daily. And the ability for chiefs and directors and people in control of keeping our citizens safe, coming together to share ideas, to share resources, just makes us more powerful in the way that we can bring a quality service consistently to everyone who comes into and works in Muskegon County, lives and plays here. And I think it's a piece that isn't lived in other parts of the state. You go to Southeast Michigan and you could drive 2 minutes and cross 3 or 4 jurisdictional lines. And a lot of them, they don't even have the ability to talk to each other on their radios. Here, we're fully interoperable. We have one dispatch center that covers the entire county. We meet on a monthly basis. Things don't get missed here. People are cared for here. And it starts again. It's at that local level. We don't have to wait for Lansing to tell us what to do. We're doing it here in Muskegon.
Yeah, I mean, it's just incredible to me, and I, it's a blessing, and I know the citizens don't necessarily see it all the time, but I know the law enforcement community really gets to experience it on a daily basis, so that to me is really cool. So, I mean, law enforcement's been your career.
Yeah.
What was it at the early onset? What tipped you to say, you know what, I think this is where I want to go. This is what I want to do.
So, God bless her. My mother did not want me to do this. I love her dearly. She was vehemently against going into law enforcement. I did an internship with the U.S. Attorney's Office, and when I was on the east side of the state, and I could not fathom, and this is why I have such great respect for you and your staff, being in a building and seeing what everybody else is doing and landing that and then having to put the final pieces on the law enforcement bow on that project and knowing that there's stuff going on outside. And, I had the chance and ability to do what you do. And I have such respect for what you do. I couldn't do it. I love the freedom and the flexibility of getting in a patrol car, and I meet new people every single day. And some days it's reading to littles at our schools. Some days it's performing CPR on a little who's not breathing. You just never know. It's that random act of what is the day going to bring us. And so I was still in college, it was that 50-50 point, and you're teetering, and which way do I want to go? And looked at the federal side and the state side, and had many friends who went federal and went to the Michigan State Police, and they love it. I'm a homebody. I need a hometown. And Muskegon was everything we wanted it to be. Our beaches are wonderful. The people are wonderful. Obviously, you live here too, so you love it the same way that I do. But we're able to, within a couple hours, be in the big city if we need that. And in a half an hour, you can be in virgin wilderness, hunting and camping. And it's the perfect place to be. I love Muskegon. I couldn't imagine being anywhere else.
So for those younger viewers that are watching this, why should they think about law enforcement as a career? What is it about this job, even today, that makes it a rewarding and worthwhile endeavor?
It's putting others and others' needs ahead of your own, and that's service above self. And I truly believe that. It's not a power trip. It's not an ego thing. Those officers who have those ideations, they don't last. It's the officers, it's the men and women, it's the youngsters who come in who want to do something positive. They want to be that good, that positive piece that makes a difference. And when we listen, and we've heard it, and we heard it from our elders, our grandparents and parents, and now we say that to our kids. Back in my day, kids are the same, and there is another batch of great young officers coming in who have in their hearts, I want to help. I want to do well. I want to treat people well. And, I think that's the big piece. I think out there are people who want to do more for their community. And what a great way to do it, by serving in law enforcement.
Well, I mean, just to kind of paraphrase what you just said, I mean, if you are looking to be somebody that can make a difference or make a difference, law enforcement is one of the careers that you get the absolute, almost daily opportunity to do that.
Never the same day twice. Absolutely.
That's fantastic. Well, Chief, thank you for being with me today. Thank you for the conversation. Thank you for your service, not only at the city level, but now at Roosevelt Park. I mean, truly, you are a testament to why law enforcement is a career, and you have filled those shoes to perfection. So thank you for that. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Well, ladies and gentlemen, so ends this episode, and I hope again that you get a chance to really kind of sort of deep dive into this topic, because I think it's really important to recognize and understand that law enforcement is in all communities, whether they be big or small. And the great thing about what we have here in Muskegon County is that it doesn't matter whether you're a big or a small department. You're always going to be big when you need to be big. And that truly is something unique that I think all of you who are watching this, who live and or work or play in Muskegon County, need to recognize that we have something very special here, and that we are working every day to make this a very safe community to live, work, and play. Thanks again for watching. Really appreciate all of you who continue to be supporters of this program. And this particular program does not happen without the ingenuity of one Michael Bogus.